Since the early 1900s, our coastal towns here in southern Delaware have served as popular getaway spots, steadily grown into one of the nation's favorite vacation sites over the 20th century, and now amounting to millions of visitors each year. Yet, the potential of our coastal area was not being newly realized at the time, as it had been a common visiting site for thousands of years. Archaeological research has proven that indigenous groups visited these coastal areas for millennia, long before modern Americans saw its potential. The evidence that has been excavated by local researchers showcases that some of our earliest inhabitants came to the region to enjoy many of the same things that our visitors come to enjoy at the beaches today. In 1865, while on a visit to the Delaware Bay, renowned Dr. Joseph Leidy spotted a sparkling heap amongst the dunes of Cape Henlopen. Upon further investigation, he found these to be large piles of oyster shells of pre-European descent. While to the local Lewes townspeople they had been a common sight, archaeological interest soon blossomed into studying these large shell heaps. Amongst these wide piles of oyster, clam, and other shells were important indigenous artifacts, such as shards of pottery, fire-cracked rock fragments, and bones. As digging continued into the 20th century, archaeologists and geologists with the University of Delaware and the Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control have come to discover multiple shell midden sites around our coastal region. Some of these sites have been dated back to over 2,000 years ago, and others as recent as around the year 1600, which was actually only a few years before European explorers would become a common sight along the coastline. The discovery and subsequent research of the sites has proven that the coastal areas of southern Delaware were temporary visitation spots for Roman and sedentary indigenous groups. Just like today, the inland bays, shallow estuaries, and the Delaware Bay were preeminent shellfishing regions that were well known to hungry visitors. From the artifacts unearthed, we can understand that these indigenous groups came to dig up their bounties and cook them in an easily recognizable manner. The fire-cracked rocks were used as a heating source within fire pits to place cookware on. The fragments of pottery, many made up of jasper and chert, showed signs of soot covering and oxidation, which means they were used over heating sources, thus signaling that these were parts of the vessels being used to cook. Therefore, with their collection of artifacts among the shell heaps, researchers have been able to paint a clear picture of indigenous habits in the area. Those Roman bands of native groups that traversed the area for thousands of years share an unsurprisingly common desire with those that now come roaming to the area today, our local oysters, clams, and shellfish.
Museum Minutes is brought to you by the Zwaanendael Museum in Lewes, Delaware, and by the Delaware Division of Historical and Cultural Affairs.